Hello, we're live on Facebook, on Muscle Owl. Muscle Owl Facebook. This is day 6 of Muscle Owl month. As many of you will know, we launched it on Monday. So we're nearly a week into it now, and you'll have seen that every day we are posting a video of often a piece of our own original content, and also we're sharing lots of different things from the community on our different pages. You might see Muscle Owl Science and Muscle Owl Politics. We'll be doing lots more live videos like these throughout the coming certainly through the coming weeks over Muscle Owl month, and then onwards from there. So I think I just wanted to do a quick video on, as it's day 6, as it's still in the first week, and we're not properly pushing the fundraising element of Muscle Owl month yet, to do kind of an introductory episode, or not an episode, an introductory live chat, just to say. Just to kind of give a list of some of the points that, some of the reasons as to why we're raising money for Muscle Owl. All registered charities will have set lists of objectives, and when people apply for fundraising, you'll have to put out, or things that you want, how funding is going to be restricted and where it's going to go. So I thought it was important to in our first week of talking about our fundraising, that we kind of state some of the things that we're going to use any of the money that we get through fundraising for. And like I say, this fundraising will go through Muscle Owl month, but we'll probably extend the current fundraising game for probably an extra month or two onwards, to try and get to that £1,000 mark that we've set ourselves, that target. And obviously after Muscle Owl month is finished, we'll try and continue in the same vein of posting content, certainly every day, and trying to keep enlightening the community, trying to keep connecting with the community. So essentially, just to start off, Muscle Owl has, we are not a registered charity. We are at this point in time not a registered organisation. Essentially, we have no funding for any of the things that we do. Thank you, Suleiman. I see you just left a message. Upwards and onwards, indeed. So at the moment, Suleiman, as you'll see, Suleiman's part of our team, which is mainly run by myself and Michaela Hollywood. We've had Suleiman since the start. Suleiman joined us on many of our early podcast episodes. I think that's first 20 or 30 episodes. And our team has grown and expanded from there, having several guests on, more than several. I think we had 20 or 30 guests onto our podcast shows from all around the community, be it scientific research or fundraising that they were doing for charities, or talking about a variety of different things. And many became kind of regulars on our podcast show, and very valued members of our team. Now, as many of you will be aware, as we're a completely voluntary organisation, no one gets paid for anything that we do at Muscle Owl. It's completely something that we do in our free time. We all have lots of other things that we do with ourselves, with our lives, and we just do as much as we can, dedicate as much as we can to it. As Suleiman, who's just commented there, will tell you, Suleiman has had a job up until very recently, so out completely outside of Muscle Owl. So essentially, that's our main aim at the moment, is to cover base costs. We will remain completely voluntary, certainly for the near to immediate future, and we're just looking to cover base costs, which for us, we start at the very bottom. We start at the most basic things that we cover, and the most basic thing that we cover at the moment, if we're looking at all that we have, we look at our subscriptions, the things that we use to keep Muscle Owl going. So, for example, for us, that is our homepage, muscleowl.com. That comes with a certain amount every month that we pay for the hosting, and we pay to keep that running and managed. And aside from that, you'll notice our podcasts are hosted on Podbean. That comes with a certain fee every month too, for us to keep them online and to keep them so that they're connected to iTunes and downloadable for all. And then there are many other different kind of hosting sites that we have subscriptions to in order to keep our content going around. This in the past has ranged from SoundCloud to Audioboom to various video sites, and whilst we always keep the costs as low as possible, we always want to push our content to as many people as possible so we can keep expanding the community. So that's our base costs. That's maybe the first quarter of our target that we're setting, or maybe our first third, is to cover those. And once we get those covered, that's a fantastic achievement. That keeps the owl rolling. The second kind of tier above that we look at is our marketing costs. So whilst Muscle Owl has what we feel is a tremendous and a wonderful following online through Facebook and through all our podcast listeners over in the States, where our podcast was always very strong, and with all the different charities that we're connected to, we're always expanding and always looking to expand our community. I'm always aware that there are always people, depending on whether they're on the other side of the world or whether they're just down the road, who might have muscular dystrophy, who might want to hear from us, and they might not know. They might not be a mutual friend with someone who might share our stuff. So a lot of our marketing costs we use through sites like Facebook for promotion in order to, in order to, as we'd say, hunt these people down and make sure that our media can get seen. So that's what we say is the next tier above our base costs, is ensuring the content can stay online and then ensuring we can expand and grow the community from there. What I look at after that, in terms of what we're raising money for, is to keep the opportunities open for us to create content and for us to connect with each other. So, for example, you'll see that we do a lot of charity events that we'll cover for people. Sometimes we might go to maybe an ILF rally, or doing something for disability rights. If we're getting the tube somewhere, or if we're getting a train somewhere, then that's the next level above. We're all volunteers, but if we could raise some funding that could allow us to cover expenses for our volunteers, expenses for anyone who was maybe going to an event that they wanted to just do a video of or share something of, so that they could be there and talk to people there, then that would be our next step above all the other things mentioned. So travel costs, and there's a certain amount of the target that we've set would go towards travel costs, and how much we can put to say, okay, every month we have this month allotted to be able to travel to different events, most likely in the UK, but obviously there's a lot of people in our community that are expanding into the United States, so there's the idea of that too, so that we can much more easily say to charities, hey, what events have you got on? We can be there, we can help you report on it, so to speak. We can help you spread the word and share your message. So that's really important too. And that's also important actually for, if we look back, for our content, and it's very important too for our engagement. So that kind of helps both the first and second tiers that we were talking about there. As Danielle Maycox, thank you. Always looking forward to the next episode. So things like that. I mean, what Danielle's talking about there, I assume our next Muscle Owl Talks episode. So Muscle Owl Talks is a fantastic show that many of you will have seen, and it's a continuation of our podcast, just in a video sphere, so that we can push it on platforms like Facebook and YouTube, and in turn we are still going to keep that running onto on our podcast, just with the audio, but this allows us to reach many more people. And what fundraising some money for travel expenses would do is that would allow us to build our community and make more connections and have more content to be able to talk about and be able to discuss, be it disability rights or be it medical research or be it just talking about someone's fundraising that they've been doing over the year for their specific charity. It would be able to allow us to source more content to be able to push on shows like Muscle Owl Talks and some more shows that we've got coming out very soon. And in fact, just to go back to the marketing side of things, is that there's going to be a few new things that are going to be announced in the coming days as to what we'll be doing, what extra things we'll be doing in terms of video media for spreading scientific research and spreading video media for disability rights. So when we look to creating new shows, and when we're considering should we continue with this one, should we change it or adapt it slightly, what we're actually thinking about as well is how quickly can we source an audience or expand an audience or grow an audience. So that marketing costs, whilst we're always keeping them down low, and the best type of marketing is just sharing and putting word around. It's always important that we do have a marketing strategy and that we do have a marketing budget. And so as you know, as I've said, that the marketing budget has always been there, but we've never actually this is the first step in actually sourcing this through fundraising. So yeah, those are the main things. This video will go live afterwards, and the three things that I've listed there are the main things that we will be using any money that we get through the coming months and through fundraising for. So as I'll say again, the base costs of keeping our website going, we know a lot of traffic most of our traffic actually comes through Facebook or YouTube, people watching our content directly. But if you want to find out more about Muscle Owl, if you want to watch over our backlog, if you want to find out about some of the other stuff that we do, or maybe you don't know how to download a Muscle Owl podcast from iTunes, you can go to muscleowl.com and you can find out about us there, and that can be a direct link for you. So it's always important that we keep that running, and as I say, it's important that we have a budget there to keep hosting and to keep our website maintained with a provider. Obviously we do all our edits in-house, we do all our designs, everything. So that cost is just going towards making sure our website can stay up online. Obviously the second tier after that I mentioned is the marketing, ensuring that we have a marketing budget so we can keep growing our community and keep reaching new people, because it's fantastic. If I think back to how we started off engaging with people, we started just with the few people that we knew from our community. With I worked at Muscular Dystrophy UK, my brother has Duchenne muscular dystrophy. We all had people from the community, and as Solomon's just said, exciting adventures ahead. Indeed, Solomon. And so that's how it started off. Me and Michaela, my best friend who has SMA type 2 muscular dystrophy, and Solomon came and joined us, and we started doing podcasts, and we grew from there. And then slowly it was fascinating to see, through a very small marketing budget that we had, that we used of our own money, to be able to expand over into the United States and start getting listeners there. And then we watched it slowly as we were doing the podcast through the Podcast Times, to be able to be able to see it grow from there, and to be able to see there was a point of which we called a swing, where we finally saw we had more listeners in the States than we did in the UK. Obviously there's more people in the States, so that was always going to happen, but it was a beautiful moment to be able to see that this really does work, and this really does help, and we really can keep reaching more people. So that's the second thing over the top there. And obviously the third thing, as I mentioned on top, is looking to secure, looking to put some of our fundraising money to a travel budget so that we are able to travel, a small amount every month to be able to go to people's events. Maybe it's fundraising events, maybe it's disability rights, disability awareness events, or maybe it's a medical research, science research event that we can report back on and share with the community. So all these things are very important, and we'd layer them in that strategy from bottom to top almost, going upwards. So once we have each one secured, then we would move up to the next one. What we see after that is putting a budget towards small additional things like equipment. The equipment that we use, for example, we already have equipment that gets us by. I mean, things like my iPad that I use, things like my microphone, which I hope you're enjoying the audio of today. So I mean we're fine with most of the equipment that we use, which is why we put that as further down the line. But that is something that if we were to secure funding long term, if we were to be able to secure all of our budgets, the first three that were just mentioned, that's something else that we'd look towards working towards, so that we could more or less essentially record better content, maybe better quality content, and maybe turn it around quicker, and maybe in turn it would be more enjoyable to watch. As we say though, we do what we can with what we have, and it's worked very well for us so far. That is our strategy. I have a cracked iPad, terribly cracked, and I always say that the first year of Muscle Owl, just before we started the podcast, while we worked as a Twitter feed, I did everything on that one cracked iPad, getting all our 10,000 Twitter followers and everything like that. So equipment is always something we can get by with, but if we were to secure our main budget, that's what we would then work towards after that. Of course, that's working in tandem with things like the software that we use, that we do have subscriptions for Adobe and things like that. More or less, they would be the first things that would be secured before moving onwards from there. But I think in an ideal position, we'd be able to secure the equipment from there. But like I say, hopefully you'll be already enjoying all of our shows and everything that we do, and enjoy watching watching the material we produce regardless of what equipment we use, hopefully we're already enough for you. We're already good enough. I think I've covered everything that I set out to in this video. If you have any questions, if you're thinking of giving a donation, justgiving.com/crowdfunding/Muscle Owl. That's justgiving.com/crowdfunding/Muscle Owl. And you'll see that we're quite slow on the donation front at the moment, because that it has up to now, and probably for the next week, that's still remaining secondary. Our main thing is for Muscle Owl Month, to keep pushing it on, keep creating content, and keep sharing and expanding and engaging our community. But like I said, for the reasons that I've just said, we are fundraising and we are taking donations for those things that I said. Also, later in the month, or in September, I will also be running some fundraising races for Muscle Owl. So I will be running a 10k race, I will be running a half marathon, and I will be running a full marathon. That's why we're going to keep the fundraising going on through September, right through to October time. After Muscle Owl Month has finished, I will be doing those possibly dressed up. Many of you who know me personally will know that I fundraised running marathons for Muscular Dystrophy UK for many years, I ran the Paris Marathon, the London Marathon, the Lake District Marathon, Barcelona Marathon was my first, and so yes, that's obviously It's something that I did for fun, but used it to raise a lot of money for Muscular Dystrophy UK. So that's another thing that it's always a bit silly. We do, crazy silly things, and we'll be using that later in the month to raise money for Muscle Owl. Again, for the costs and budgets that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. In fact, do I have my mobile phone here? I thought I do. I can show you a picture of if there's going to be some discussions about this, but I might run this marathon, and maybe the half marathon and the 10k, depending on which ones they are. I might run them as the fictional superhero character Captain Muscles, which it was when I was working for Muscular Dystrophy UK and fundraising for Muscular Dystrophy UK. I started fundraising and I started doing marathons, and I thought, how can I make them more interesting? How can I make them more wild? So I created a fictional superhero called Captain Muscles, and he wore a muscle morph suit all over, and an orange wig, and a cape and a shield. He had the shield in the London Marathon. He had the wig in Liverpool Marathon. So here's the wig. That was me. Obviously a little bit thinner and younger than I am now. That was me running as Captain Muscles in the Liverpool Marathon. That was. So yeah, later in the month, I mean, now this is part of Muscle Hour month, where we just thought it was best to explain what we would be using costs for of any donations. But on the same page, if later in the month, I'll be announcing the 3 runs that I'll do, the 3 fundraising races, maybe running as Captain Muscles. Maybe we'll have to see what happens. I'll probably be asking for sponsorship at some point then too. So yeah, I just like I say, fundraising can be wonderful and fantastic, but fundraising, certainly the asking for money part, is it's not one of the most enjoyable bits of Muscle Owl, or of running any organisation. I've been treasurer and trustee of lots of different charities in the past, and it's charities exist to do their work, do the things that they want to do. So, for example, Muscle Owl, we want to create a social group online for people with disabilities and parents and families to educate about disability and educate about medical research, and educate about the community itself, to talk about fundraising for different charities and the work that the different charities are doing, and to be one central hub of media. And that's the fun part. That's what Muscle Owl's all about. So really, I think maybe once a week from now on, I might just post in and just say, hey, this is what we're doing with our fundraising, and this is how it's going. That kind of thing. Yeah, that's all. Because, as we say, we don't want to push too much at once. Towards the end of the month, and when I'm maybe doing my marathons dressed up, looking rather silly, maybe we'll start talking more about it then. But for the meantime, if you do want to donate, justgiving.com/crowdfunding/Muscle Owl, one word, justgiving.com/crowdfunding/Muscle Owl. But in the meantime, keep listening. And what we'll also say as well is, what I always say, is that since we're a media organisation, if you can't give £5 or £10 or £1 or anything, because I'm I'm not plush with money. I can't donate to lots of people. So what I always say is, if you can't donate, and in monetary terms, but you want to help an organisation, if you want to share our Muscle Owl Talks episodes, if you want to subscribe to our YouTube page, getting more YouTube followers, getting more Facebook likes, those things really help us as an organisation. So if you want to help us in that way, that's fantastic too. And in some cases, just as important as giving a donation. in some cases more important. So yeah, because that's our main aim, to keep growing as a community, to keep so that we can keep giving to the community, and so that we can expand as an organization, so that we can keep helping more and more people and keep growing. So yeah, thank you all so much. Thank you to all who've supported in the past, and thank you to everyone who's shared our stuff in the past. Thank you to everyone who's listened to a podcast, everyone who's downloaded, everyone who's subscribed to us on iTunes in the beginning. You know, you guys got Muscle Owl to where it is right now, and we're just trying to take it further. We're just trying to spread the word of muscular dystrophy. In you know, and in the larger sense, raise awareness and kind of encourage an understanding of disability. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to continue with that, because I think as I've said recently, I think I think that with our team that we have right now, and with the people we have around us, we're some of the best suited people to be able to do that. I look at some of the people that we have on our shows. I noticed Sarah Tipping's just joined the chat. You know, Sarah joins us on our Muscle Owl talks. As I say, Solomon and Michaela, the two people that we started with. Fantastically informational and knowledgeable, and you know, you look at all the other people that we have, it's a fantastic team, a wonderful team. And when you think about the fact that all these people do it voluntarily, you know, wow, it's mad, isn't it? A wonderful society that we live in right now, that we can have such open internet, and I can be talking to you live, and you know, we can put out Muscle Owl episodes for free. It's wonderful. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's ever engaged with us, and let's keep moving forwards. As Solomon says here, onwards we move. Yeah. So yeah, if you're just joining us at the end of the chat, you can this will be posted live automatically within 30 seconds to a minute time, and you can go back and watch us. Yeah, hope you enjoyed day 6 of Muscle Owl month. Many more exciting pieces of video media to come ahead. So yeah, hopefully we'll catch you soon, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.